It is 4 a.m. in the middle of January, 1348. A cold, damp draft cuts through the stone walls, snapping you awake. You are lying on a thin, filthy straw mattress crawling with fleas on the floor of a drafty, unheated tower room. The air is so bitterly cold inside that your breath freezes in front of your face. You try to reach into your pocket for your phone. There is no phone. You look down at your hands. They are cracked, caked with dirt, and covered in painful chilblains from the freezing temperatures. You aren't wearing your cozy pajamas. You are wrapped in a coarse, itchy wool smock that smells like stale sweat, wood smoke, and lard. You look around the room. Dozens of exhausted men and women are waking up beside you, groaning in the dark. Below your feet, through the thick oak floorboards, you hear the distant stomping of horses and the clanking of iron gates. You are standing inside the towering stone walls of a 14th century English castle. You aren't the valiant knight in shining armor, and you aren't the wealthy lord sitting by the fireplace. You are a scullery servant, the lowest human link in the feudal chain. If the fire in the great hall goes out today, you will be whipped. If you drop a silver platter during dinner, you will be thrown into the dungeon. Here is how you survive the next 24 hours at the bottom of a medieval castle. Welcome to the grim reality of the Middle Ages. Hollywood movies like to show castles as glamorous, romantic palaces filled with glowing candlelight and elegant balls. The truth? Castles were glorified dark, freezing, damp stone fortresses that smelled like rotting meat, burning animal fat, and human waste. In less than 18 hours, you will haul hundreds of pounds of wood, clean human toilets with your bare hands, and serve drunken lords who view your life as entirely expendable. It's 4:30 a.m. There is no snooze button, and there is certainly no hot shower. You don't even have shoes, just worn-out leather wraps tied around your ankles with hemp rope. Your day begins with the dirtiest, most revolting job in the entire castle, cleaning the garderobes. Garderobes are the castle's toilets, essentially small stone closets built over high walls, featuring a wooden bench with a hole in it that drops waste into the moat below. But the waste doesn't always fall neatly into the water. In the freezing winter, it freezes along the outer stone walls and inside the chutes. Equipped with a wooden bucket, an iron scraper, and a bundle of dried moss for wiping, you trek down the pitch-black spiral stone staircases to clear the blockages and scrub the stone seats clean before the lord and lady wake up. The smell is enough to make a modern stomach turn inside out, but you can't show disgust. In the 14th century, complaining gets you beaten. 6 a.m. Time for your next urgent duty, lighting the castle hearths. A medieval castle in winter is a giant refrigerator. If the fires in the Great Hall and the lord's private bedchamber die down, the interior temperatures drop below freezing. You carry heavy baskets of oak logs up narrow, winding stairs that were deliberately designed to be uneven to trip up invading enemies. Every step strains your legs. You kneel on the cold flagstones, blowing on faint red embers, coaxing a flame to life using dried tinder and fat. Breakfast is served at 7:30 a.m. in the noisy, chaotic Great Hall. But don't expect a hearty spread of bacon and eggs. As a low-ranking servant, your breakfast is a wooden bowl of pottage, a thick, gray, lukewarm grain porridge made from boiled barley, oats, and withered winter vegetables like turnips and leeks. You get a thick slice of stale trenchers, dense, dark rye bread that is so hard and dry it is often used as an edible plate. You wash it down with small beer, weak, cloudy, unrefined ale with a very low alcohol content. Clean drinking water doesn't exist in a medieval castle. The river water is polluted, so ale is the only thing safe enough to drink without contracting deadly dysentery. 9 a.m. The castle kitchen explodes into absolute madness. Tonight, the lord of the castle is hosting a grand winter feast for neighboring barons and knights, and the master chef is a notoriously short-tempered tyrant. The kitchen is a giant, roaring inferno. Multiple massive fireplaces blaze simultaneously, filling the room with suffocating black smoke and the thick smell of roasting meat. You are assigned to the most agonizing job in the kitchen, the turnspit. You sit on a tiny wooden stool inches away from a roaring open fire, turning a heavy iron spit laden with whole pigs, roosters, and venison legs for 3 straight hours without stopping. The heat roasts the front of your body while your back remains freezing cold from the icy drafts blowing through the unglazed windows. Sweat pours down your face, stinging your eyes, while hot grease spits off the meat, burning your raw skin. If you stop turning the spit even for a minute and let the meat burn, the head cook will strike you across the back with a heavy wooden spoon. 12:30 p.m. Midday meal break. While the nobles enjoy a light lunch of roasted capon and sweet wine, you sit in the dark corner of the scullery, eating leftovers scrapped off the nobleman's wooden platters from the night before. While chewing on a tough piece of gristle, you hear a loud commotions in the courtyard. You rush to the window. A messenger on a foam-covered horse has just galloped through the portcullis. Rumors spread like wildfire among the servants. The king's tax collectors are arriving, or worse, rumors of a strange, deadly pestilence, the Black Death, spreading through coastal ports to the south. In the Middle Ages, news is rare, and bad news usually means more work, higher taxes, or sudden death for the peasantry. 2 p.m. Prepping for the grand evening feast. The scullery is piled high with hundreds of greasy pewter plates, wooden bowls, and iron cauldrons caked with dried stew and burnt fat. There is no dish soap or running hot water. You wash every single piece of cookware by hand using buckets of icy well water mixed with wood ash and sand. The harsh alkaline lye from the wood ash cuts through the thick grease, but it also eats away at the skin on your hands, leaving them cracked, raw, and bleeding. Meanwhile, you must help prepare the bizarre delicacies favored by medieval aristocracy. You spend an hour carefully reattaching colorful peacock feathers back onto a roasted peacock carcass so it looks alive when served, and stuffing cooked pies with live birds so they fly out when sliced open. A grand spectacle meant to show off the lord's immense wealth. 6 p.m. The grand feast begins in the illuminated Great Hall. Hundreds of beeswax candles and torches flicker against tapestries depicting famous battles. Musicians play lutes and pipes from the minstrel gallery. You change into a slightly cleaner tunic and step onto the floor of the Great Hall as a server. This is the highest stress moment of your entire day. You carry heavy silver trays piled high with spiced meats, roasted boar, lampreys, and jellied eels through a crowded hall filled with heavily armed, heavily intoxicated noblemen. The floor under your feet is covered in rushes, dried straw mixed with fragrant herbs like thyme and mint to mask bad odors. But under the straw lies a disgusting layer of spilled ale, discarded bones, dog vomit, and grease thrown to the hunting hounds roaming the hall. One slip on this slick floor, one dropped silver dish, and you face public whipping, immediate dismissal, or worse. You must navigate the tables with perfect humility, keeping your eyes cast down, speaking only when spoken to, and dodging the erratic swings of drunken knights who view servants as little more than furniture. 9:30 p.m. The feast finally winds down. The nobles stumble off to their private chambers, while the Great Hall transforms into a disaster zone. Your work isn't done. You and the other servants spend 2 grueling hours clearing the tables, sweeping up the soiled straw floor, putting out every single torch, and locking the heavy iron doors to prevent thieves or assassins from entering. 11:30 p.m. Nearly 20 hours after your day began, you finally limp back up the winding stone stairs to your cold tower room. Your knees ache, your hands are raw and burning from the ash water, and your back feels like it's about to snap in half. You pull your filthy, coarse wool cloak over your shoulders and collapse onto the thin straw mattress. You pull your knees to your chest, shivering in the dark, listening to the icy winter wind howling through the battlements outside. You survive today without being whipped, burned, or thrown into the dungeons. But as your eyes heavy shut, you know that in less than 5 hours, the guard's boot will hit your mattress, and you will do it all over again. If you survive this brutal 24-hour journey into the dark reality of the Middle Ages, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Want to see what happens if you woke up in 17th century Japan as a samurai? Click the video on your screen right now. Stay curious and stay strong.